I was 2 years old when I noticed a crazy detail in Escape from New York. Check it out. Snake Plissken unalives a guy with a ninja star. See the ninja star here? And here he comes. Barry shoots him in a leg and he throws a ninja star in a guy's forehead. Well, that's just wild. From the 1960s until the 1980s, American cinema experienced its own renaissance. Just as France had the French New Wave, the US had the American New Wave, an era where many films carried the same defiant message. Fuck you. Escape from New York, released in 1981, embodies this spirit through Snake Plissken. Even if the era was winding down by then, Snake remains one of the biggest on-screen embodiments of that unapologetic you attitude. By 81, when this film was released, cinema was shifting. Star Wars 1977 and Raiders of the Lost Ark 1981 had set the stage for the blockbuster adventure era. The rebellious spirit of the new wave was giving way to slick, high-concept, crowd-pleasing entertainment. John Carpenter's Escape from New York stands out as one of the last mid-budget genre films that shout the bold "fuck you" at the establishment, flipping off authority, the system, and the government. That's exactly why I love it. The film feels timeless, with something in it that speaks to everyone. Snake Plissken is one of the most iconic anti-heroes in cinema history. With his eyepatch, gravelly voice, and no-nonsense attitude, he embodies the perfect blend of Western gunslinger and the outlaw. Kurt Russell shed his clean-cut Disney image and rebuilt himself as pure grit, creating a character who feels larger than life, yet surprisingly human. Snake doesn't just break the rules, he makes you question why the rules exist in the first place. At first he seems like he doesn't give a damn about anything, but as the film unfolds you realize he carries a rough-edged concern for humanity beneath their cynicism. Snake lives by his own code, and it's that authenticity that makes him magnetic. He's cynical, but in that cynicism lies a blunt honesty. He'll never posture as a hero, and that paradox is exactly what makes him one. Decades later, Snake Plissken still stands tall as a cinema ultimate middle finger to the establishment. And that's why his image has never faded from pop culture. The film also sells Snake Plissken as a well-established war hero, supposedly a veteran of World War III or something. We hear throwaway lines about him flying a glider over Leningrad, parachuting into Kremlin and taking down hundreds of men with nothing more than a pocket knife. I can't recall the exact dialogue, but the mythic tone adds to this legend. Alright, here's the story spine. Spoilers incoming. Manhattan has been turned into a giant walled prison, explained with a dialogue and some computer graphics that were really just old school movie wizardry because Carpenter couldn't afford the real deal in the 80s. Air Force One crashes in sight and the president gets nabbed. Enter outlaw Snake Plissken, forced to rescue him within 24 hours or die. Thanks to tiny explosives the government planted in his neck to keep him motivated and compliant. He also has to retrieve a MacGuffin tape handcuffed to the president, which allegedly holds nuclear fusion code or something that will somehow save America in its war with Russia and China, I think. Snake hacks, slashes, and swaggers his way through gang-ruled ruins. Faces off against the Duke of New York, played with glorious menace by Isaac Hayes, and pulls off a desperate rescue, only to cap it all with a sly middle finger to the very system that set him up. Carpenter nailed the whole authoritarian future military vibe. The command center interiors were just studio-built sets in LA, dressed up with blinking lights, radar screens, and fake computers to convince 1981 audiences they were seeing a high-tech military installation. A few token shots of Liberty Island remind you it's supposed to be New York, but the rest is clever camera trickery. Dark frames and tight angles making one small set look like a sprawling bunker. Meanwhile, the actors rattle off military gobbledygook like David 14. This is Eagle 77, we got a red 13 on our hands, copy that. And the uniforms make it all feel legit. And presiding over it all is Lee Van Cleef as Hawk. Clearly meant to be a World War III vet. A hard-edged gigachad who looks like he could order the Pentagon around before breakfast. Carpenter also nailed the urban decay of Manhattan's open-air prison by shooting in St. Louis and blending in matte paintings with quick establishing shots of Liberty Island and the skyline. The burnt-out look wasn't just set dressing, the production took advantage of the aftermath of the 1976 East St. Louis fire, which left blocks of real ruins, perfect for Carpenter's dystopia. Costume designers went full Mad Max, dressing the inmates like scavengers trying to survive in the rubble of New York instead of the desert. Adding levity, we get a yellow cab turned into a rolling war machine. Driven by the unforgettable Cappy, who grins his way through the apocalypse and provides some much needed comic relief. On the other end of the spectrum, the Duke's ride is flamboyant, pimped-out cruiser that screams, "I run this place." Carpenter also gives us moody interiors of a library where Brain and Maggie hide out. Characters who live in a grey area of trust. Brain even seems to have rigged up an oil pump in his lair to fuel Cappy's taxi, the Duke's car, and maybe even the street lights. A touch that makes the ruins feel oddly functional in their decay. This film has a lot going for it. The anamorphic lenses shine, likely because the crew kept the aperture wide open on a shoestring lighting budget, pushing the glass to its limits and giving the image a gritty, distinct character. Carpenter composed the iconic score himself, while a young James Cameron provided matte paintings. And with Debra Hill producing alongside Carpenter, they stretched every dollar to make a film that feels much bigger than its modest budget. And yes, this film throws in a full-blown gladiator arena, where convicts bash each other to death with spiked bats. Because of course it does. Snake's outfit is amazing, tactical yet stylish. And his weapons are just as cool. A submachine gun with a silencer, a revolver with a scope, and even ninja stars. Honestly, I'd love to own this kit for personal security. And let's talk about his smoking. Snake doesn't vape, he lights up. He smokes to keep himself going, and in this world it's not about health trends, it's about looking rebellious. I always come back to this masterpiece because it radiates an energy that says whatever you're doing, keep at it, even when the odds are against you. It pushes you to question authority, stand your ground, avoid pointless risks, and fight back. There's a little bit of Snake Plissken in all of us. For me, it's an easy 9 out of 10 because this film still absolutely rips. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you for watching and have a good one.